Since before recorded history began, cultures across the world shared prophecies of a coming teacher, a Messiah who would transform humanity. The ancients foretold the arrival of a leader who would bring enlightenment. This is the story of those prophecies that pointed to a new era of wisdom, justice, and oneness. Join us as we launch this series uncovering the backstory of this birth. From miraculous prophecies to the mysterious Magi, we'll unveil fascinating truths in the lead-up to Christmas. Welcome to our mystical Christmas journey. Hit like, share, and subscribe to explore the hidden Christmas mysteries that bind us. Comment below to join the conversation. Let the profound exploration begin. While details differ, common threads emerge, like a heavenly savior appearing on earth, ushering in a new age of righteousness, wisdom, and spiritual enlightenment. Many cultures express this innate prophecy of a divinely inspired leader. Overall, many ancient cultures worldwide developed myths and prophecies about a God-man savior or messianic figure who would arrive in a future age to bring enlightenment, renewal, and salvation. Biblically, these are some of the prophecies. 1900 BC, Abrahamic covenant. God promises Abraham that through his descendants, all peoples on earth will be blessed. Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. 1000 BC, Nathan's prophecy. The prophet Nathan foretells that the house and kingdom of David will endure forever through God's covenant. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verses 12 through to 16. 740 BC, Emmanuel prophecy. Isaiah prophesies a child will be born called Emmanuel, meaning God with us. Isaiah chapter 7, verses 14. 730 BC, New Davidic king. Isaiah foresees a new Davidic king of justice and righteousness. Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through to 9. 700 BC, the branch. The prophet Micah foretells the Messiah will come from the town of Bethlehem. Micah chapter 5, verse 2. 200 BC, the scepter. The book of Numbers refers to a scepter arising out of Israel. Numbers chapter 24, verse 17. 26 BC, the Anointed One. Daniel prophesies the coming of the Anointed One, the Messiah. Daniel chapter 9, verses 25 to 26. 25 BC, Messenger of the Covenant. Malachi prophesies a messenger representing the coming new covenant. Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. Many ancient traditions beyond the Abrahamic faiths also have prophecies and teachings about a future messianic figure, savior, or new era of spiritual awakening. Here are some examples. Hinduism. The Kalki Purana and Mahabharata detail the prophecy of Kalki, who will end the Kali Yuga age and begin a new Satya Yuga through intense spiritual awakening. The Kalki Purana, dated to around the 16th century CE, details Kalki as the 10th and final avatar of Lord who will end the dark Kali Yuga age on a white horse. The Mahabharata, verses dating back to at least 500 BCE, describes the appearance of Kalki at the end of Kali Yuga to restore righteousness and renew humanity. Buddhism. Several Buddhist sutras and traditions refer to Maitreya, a future Buddha who will achieve complete enlightenment and teach pure Dharma, ushering in a new world age. The Anagatavamsa and other early Buddhist texts, 1st century BCE, tell of Maitreya who will achieve complete enlightenment as a Buddha and teach a perfect Dharma. The Lotus Sutra from the 1st century CE has a full chapter dedicated to Maitreya, describing his arrival in a distant future age. Zoroastrianism, the Zandi Vohuman-Yasht, dated to around 250 BCE, contains teachings about Saoshyant and the final battle between good and evil. The Jamaspnamag, 9th century CE, expands on Saoshyant's virgin birth and spiritual leadership, and led humanity in the final spiritual battle, and bring about Frashakireti, the renewal of existence. Taoism. Some Taoist scriptures predict the coming of a true man or Chantazu who will perfect the Tao and harmonize the world. Mayan. The existing Mayan codices, like the Dresden Codex, 11th to 12th century CE, depict Kukulkan and prophecies about the coming Fifth World Age. The Mayan codices contain prophecies about the coming of Kukulkan, the feathered serpent god, symbolizing wisdom, who would establish a new era of consciousness. Tibetan Buddhism, the 12th century CE text. The prophecy of the future relates Padmasambhava's prediction of the victor, who will transform Tibet and spread Buddha's teachings. Padmasambhava prophesied the incarnation of the victor, who would transform Tibet and spread Buddha's teachings throughout the world. There are messianic prophecies from some of those other cultures as well. Essenes. The Essenes were an ascetic Jewish sect around the 1st century BCE, 1st century CE. Some of the Dead Sea Scrolls, likely authored by the Essenes, contain prophecies about the coming of a Messiah and the Son of God, who will be a descendant of Kings David and Solomon. Egyptians. Some Egyptian traditions predicted the coming of a savior figure, like the mythological god King Horus, who would restore divine order and righteousness. The ancient Egyptian tale of Set Nakamras describes a prophet predicting a boy who will be king of the universe. Africans. The early Buganda kingdom in modern-day Uganda had myths about the future arrival of a man from heaven who would come as a human to spread wisdom and perform miracles. Native Americans. The Delaware and Shawnee tribes predicted God will send his Son to the earth to teach love, brotherhood, and peace in the end times. The Hopi tribe prophesied the coming of the Red Kachina, who will signify the day of purification. Greek. Some Greek philosophers like Plato spoke of a future time when a perfectly just man would appear on earth and rule with wisdom and virtue. Norse. The 13th century Norse poem, Völuspá, contains references to the coming of a mighty ruler, descended from Odin, who will establish a new world order. Mesoamerican. The 16th century post-colonial document Popol Vuh describes the prophecies from Quiché and other Mesoamerican cultures about the coming of a god king who would establish a new era of consciousness. Polynesian. Hawaiian folklore speaks of Lono i Kamakahiki, who some scholars link to prophecies about the coming of a messiah in Polynesian culture. Australian Aboriginal. Some Aboriginal oral traditions from Southeast Australia refer to an ancient sky hero who disappeared but promised to return one day to Earth from the sky. Despite being separated by thousands of miles, prophets, philosophers, and mystics in societies from Judea to China, India to Guatemala, had visions of a divinely inspired figure who would realign humankind with truth and usher in an age of unity. The names differed: Messiah, Maitreya, Kalki, Quetzalcoatl, but the promise was the same. The heavens avowed that a savior would emerge to redeem humanity. What did our ancestors know that modern eyes have forgotten? For millennia, humanity intuitively understood its interconnectedness. Now, we dismiss prophecies that speak of our oneness as myth and fantasy. But the truth persists in our collective memory, waiting to be awakened. The forecast of the promised one who would align all living beings endures. The heavenly dispensation is unfolding. The moment to embrace our shared divine destiny is at hand. Can we open our eyes to the signs and achieve unification? The choice is ours. Legends tell of wise men journeying from the Far East, following a heavenly portent in the night sky. These mystic scholar kings traversed vast deserts and seas, drawn by the promise of a prophesied king. The ancients planted seeds of great faith that we might reap the harvest of understanding. Can we see beyond surface differences to recognize the coming of universal consciousness, reflected in all these cultures like sunlight fractured into a prism of prophecy, all the global prophecies to the underlying spiritual truth that humanity is one, we are all connected. The anticipated messianic figure represents the innate human longing for wisdom, justice, enlightenment. His coming urges us to seek unity, equality, and oneness among all people across cultures.
He will return as one, cloaked in the sun.
Like, share, and hit the subscribe button to continue getting new revelations in this channel.